This video explains how to perform the annual maintenance procedures required for the Amiad EBS filters 10,000 and 15,000 models using the annual maintenance kit. Before starting the maintenance procedures, please take the following actions. 1. Initiate the flushing cycle. 2. Disconnect the power supply. 3. Open the bypass valve. 4. Close the outlet and inlet valves. 5. Open the drain valve and empty the filter. 6. Disassemble the piping from the flushing valve. To disassemble the drive unit, start with removing the cover by using an Allen wrench to release the 2 screws and remove the drive unit cover. Release the 2 toggle latch clamps holding the drive shaft housing cover and then remove the cover from the drive shaft housing. To disconnect the drive unit, use 2 wrenches and release the 4 bolts. Remove the drive unit by sliding it upwards. Inspect the shaft key to check if it needs to be replaced. To disassemble the limit switch bracket, use 2 wrenches and release the 2 bolts to disconnect the limit switch assembly. Using a screwdriver, unplug the solenoid valve's electrical connector. Disassembling the drive shaft housing requires using pliers to remove the safety split pin, which will allow pulling out the connecting pin. Using a wrench, rotate the drive shaft counterclockwise to separate it from the scanner shaft. Using 2 wrenches, release the 8 bolts and remove the housing. When the drive shaft is disconnected, use a wrench to unscrew the sealing flange assembly, tightening nuts. Using a flat screwdriver, remove the sealing flange assembly, replace with a new one, and tighten the 2 nuts with a wrench. Replace the drive shaft housing O-ring. Before disassembling the filter lid, remove any loose items from the lid surface. Using 2 wrenches, release all bolts holding the filter lid in place. Before lifting the lid, please be advised that the lifting device must comply with local regulations. Connect the lifting device to the 3 lifting lugs located on the filter's lid and safely lift the lid over the scanner shaft and move the lid away from the filter. While the filter's lid is lifted, remove the upper bearing's inner O-ring and replace it with a new one. And then also remove and replace the housing O-ring. For suction scanner maintenance, first pull out the scanner and inspect what kind of nozzle system is installed. For standard nozzle system, remove the nozzle cap and replace it with a new one using a wrench or groove joint pliers. For SLN nozzle system, remove and replace the SLN cap and O-ring. Using groove joint pliers, remove the tightening nut and replace its SLN seal. Remove the SLN housing with its spring and sealing parts. Inspect and clean the sealing items. Replace the SLN seal with a new one. Insert the SLN housing with its spring and sealing parts. Slightly tighten the tightening nut and reattach the SLN cap. Screen element maintenance requires lifting out the screen using designated lifting lugs. First, remove the upper screen seal. Hold the lifting lug to loosen the wing nut and place the lifting lug over the top edge of the screen, with the wing nut located on the inside of the screen. Make sure the lifting lug ledge is located underneath the screen's outer reinforcement rung. Hold the lifting lug in position and rotate the wing nut clockwise to secure it against the screen. Attach a shackle fitted with a sling to the lifting lug. Pull upward quickly to verify that the lifting lug is securely attached and that the ledge is engaged with the rung. Repeat the previous steps to position the second lifting lug. Place this lug 180 degrees opposite the first lifting lug. Connect the lifting device to the lifting assembly and slowly remove the screen from the filter housing. Guide the screen as it is lifted to prevent damaging the filter housing coating. Move the screen away from the filter's housing. The screen should never be lifted over anyone's head. Remove the lower screen seal. Using a high-pressure cleaner, wash the screen element thoroughly. Pull out the screen support from the filter housing and clean it. Replace the screen support inner O-ring and lubricate using silicone grease. After cleaning the screen, start to reassemble the filter. Before reassembling, note that all replaced parts should be lubricated and well installed. Start with verifying that the new lubricated lower bearing O-ring is in place and insert the screen support into the filter housing. Reattach the lifting lugs to the screen. Using the lifting device, lift the screen element and install a new lower screen seal on the lower edge of the screen. Place the screen inside the filter's housing and make sure it's properly placed on its support. Remove the sling and the lifting lugs from the screen. Check the scanner and verify that all required parts have been replaced. Insert the scanner into the filter. Attach a new screen seal to the upper screen edge. Lubricate the seal with silicone grease. Before reattaching the filter's lid, lubricate the filter housing O-ring using silicone grease. To reattach the filter's lid, connect the lifting device to the 3 lifting lugs on top of the filter lid. Prior to the assembly, verify that all seals and O-rings are lubricated. Position the filter lid onto the filter housing and ensure that the suction scanner shaft is properly positioned through the lid center. Verify the flushing valve orientation. Using 2 wrenches, slightly tighten all lid bolts using a cross-bolting sequence. Before reassembling the drive shaft housing, verify that the sealing flange has been replaced and lubricate the new sealing flange with silicone grease. Reinstall the drive shaft housing in its place. Verify the orientation and that the connecting pin bore is accessible. Using 2 wrenches, tighten the 8 bolts. Do not apply final torque. Using a wrench, rotate the drive shaft downward, clockwise, until it fits the scanner's shaft. To connect the drive shaft to the scanner, insert the connecting pin and secure it with a safety split pin and bend it to ensure it stays in place. Slightly rotate the drive shaft upward and connect the limit switch assembly. Verify that the limit switch plate is located between the 2 limit switches. Firmly tighten the limit switch assembly bolts using 2 wrenches. Before connecting the drive unit, inspect the shaft key and replace if required. Insert the shaft key into the designated groove. Lubricate the shaft key and the shaft with non-melting grease. Slide the drive unit onto the drive shaft. Using 2 wrenches, attach the drive unit and tighten the 4 bolts. Securely tighten the lid and drive shaft housing bolts using a cross-bolting sequence. Lubricate the threaded section of the drive shaft with non-melting grease. Thoroughly wash the control filter, connect the solenoid valve connector, and secure it using a screwdriver. Reconnect the flushing valve piping. After reassembling the filter, follow the steps below. First, reconnect the power supply. 2. Initiate flushing cycle and verify proper operation. 3. Close the drain valve. 4th, gradually open the inlet valve and fill the filter with water. 5. Initiate flushing cycle and check for any leaks. 6. Open the outlet valve. 7. Close the bypass valve. 8. Reinstall the drive unit cover using an Allen key to secure the 2 screws. 9. Reinstall the drive shaft housing cover and secure it using the 2 toggle latch clamps. The EBS is now back in operation.